Deliver construction rig semi-trailer to the Silver Quarry in Zherbai Quarries. Hello there everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of SnowRunner here at Openfed Gaming. I am the Openfed. I was asked to come out to the logistics center here on the Zherbai Quarry map in the Almaty region yesterday to come and pick up this here construction rig semi-trailer. Now, this semi-rig trailer delivery is part of the, it's called In the Right Place task, but it's part of the KAZ Minerals PLC contract. Now imagine my surprise when I got here late last night and I already knew which trailer it was, and then I saw it this morning. This is the same trailer that not too long ago we had picked up at the New Slate Quarry at the bottom of the pit and brought it over here to the logistics center. So, and that was quite a haul. It was a difficult task and took a while to do. And now they're coming back and saying, hey, we delivered it to the wrong place. It's got to go to the Silver Quarry. So, okay, I hope that they're right this time, because the Silver Quarry is going to be a little bit more difficult than when we got it out of the New Slate Quarry. The New Slate Quarry is closer by, and it's a little bit easier and not quite as deep. But this one's going to be a little bit more difficult. So we decided to use our trusty Avenhorn A15 for the reason, like I always keep saying, is it's a nice short truck. It's got lots of power. I've got a crane if I need it. The tires are big enough to not have to worry about the medium to small size boulders. We got a maintenance module on there that holds an extra 300 liters of fuel, and I'm not sure how many extra spare repair points. And we've got 160 liters of spare fuel on the bumper. We got a twin steer in the front, which helps with any cracks or breaks in the rocks, that we can span them with our double axle in the front and our double axle in the back. And hopefully we can deliver this trailer in one go. That's going to be the task for today. That's going to be our objective, is to get it all over there without any incidents. Now, as you can see, the terrain that we're driving on is not the greatest, and this trailer is quite long, so you really have to worry about the off track. Take all your turns as wide as you can, and then here again, I could have probably stayed in that grassy area on the left hand side, and it probably would have been better. I didn't think about that until later, but that's okay. We got through it, because the back part of the trailer is going to go into that anyhow, so it's, you know, we might as well have gone through it, and it would have been an easier curve. Kind of like the curve coming up here, and I'll show it to you when we get there. We're not quite there yet. Now here we like I said, you just got to keep coming back and forth and try and keep that trailer going down the middle of the tracks. I know it's not easy, but that's what we're going to have to try to do. We're going to have to attempt. Now, as we come up here, we want to take this pretty wide, but as you can see, you can only go as wide as there's rocks there, otherwise you're going to drive off into the ditch there. But as soon as you get past the rocks here, I should have gone a little bit wider. I didn't quite go wide enough, because we're going to turn in tight to the right. Now, I could have followed the tracks, but it's a pretty tight turn around those trees, so I figured if I cut in over here, I can go through that little bit of watery mud pit in the bottom there and just pull it straight up out of there. I figured that'd be the easier route, and it turned out that was okay. It was not that difficult. Now, with a trailer this long, and of course this is the reason why I took the Avenhorn, because it's got such a short wheelbase, you know, the off-track really becomes a problem once we get into the quarry. But you'll see when we get there. Had we used a truck that was even longer than this one, like say maybe the Kenworth, or even the Plaid is longer, you might have had a little bit more trouble. So, which is why I like this one. I eventually finally shifted to the high range of the low gear, which is a nicer gear to drive in, because the truck doesn't keep wanting to shift up and down depending upon the terrain. And you can still get a decent speed going if you're on decent flat grounds, but you don't have to worry about that here, because speed is not an issue. Not on this job, speed is not an issue. So the high range of the low gear is probably a really good gear to drive in. Plus, when you're going down any kind of a little bit of a hill, it also helps hold the truck and the trailer back a little bit. Now, when you're coming through this here corner, if you look up ahead, you're going to have a turn. Look straight down to the bottom. You're going to have a turn to the left, and it's a 90-degree turn. So your trailer's already to the right-hand side of the track here. And I just try to keep it there a little bit. It doesn't give you a lot of extra room, but every little bit helps, I suppose. And then when we come over here, I overshot the corner a little bit, so I have to back it up. It actually worked to my advantage, because by doing that, the trailer was a little bit closer to the corner than it would have been had I not overshot it, and it would have been further to the left. So this helped out a little bit. Now, to get into the quarry's on our left-hand side, on the other side of the rocks. And to get into this quarry, you have to go over that little bridge in front of us. That's over that little creek, watery mud pit creek, or whatever that you want to call it. And there's no way we're going to be able to do that, because we're never going to make that turn, and that bridge is very, very small. So we're just going to ride up along the side here. It's a little bit of an angle from left to right, but if we go slow enough and try not to bounce the truck too much, because if you fall down in there, then you're lost. And then you'll have to bring out the emergency vehicles. But once we get the truck through there, the trailer will follow. The trailer will follow us right up the side there, and here we are at the beginning of the entrance to the Silver Quarry. Now, we've been up and down through here. We've been into the bottom of the Silver Quarry a few times, but never with anything as big as this trailer. It's the first time we've ever pulled anything this large into the quarry. So it's going to be a little bit of it's going to be an adventure, because we got a few tight areas that are not very favorable to a trailer this long, let alone put a truck with it. So anyhow, we're going to do our best as we're coming through. Our very first problem area is right here, where we got to go to the right and then hang an abrupt left. But it's not so bad, because that rock on the right hand side is actually quite flat and quite even with the grassy area, so it's not really an issue. You just got to make sure you go around that rock on the left hand side, that's all. And if you take it wide enough, you should be okay. Otherwise, it might drag past the rock a little bit. I cleared it just about, just with a little bit of room to spare. So as we're coming down here, there's watery mud pits everywhere along your travels into the quarry, and it's just standing water, so I doubt very much if it's ever going to disappear. But it's not deep, and the muddy area is not too bad. It's a little bit of a problem area when you're driving through it in Scouts, like the Ford 750 was not that great. The Tuz did okay, but if you came in here with a Jeep or a Yar or anything like that, it might be a little bit tough getting through these muddy areas. The Avenhorn doesn't have too much trouble with it. Being the bigger truck, he just kind of plows through. It slows him down a little bit, but not much of an issue. Then we gotta just hold on for a second so that we can move that time ahead, so we can see a little bit better where we are actually going. And holy cow, look at how far down the pit is. That's a long ways to go. That is a long ways. I can still see my Kenworth sitting down there too. It's still sitting there waiting for us to come and pick him up one day, I suppose. Well, we're going to be down there in a minute. Now this here area too, if you take your time, you're okay, because it really tilts from right to left. And if you go slow, you're okay. If you go a little bit too fast and you hit a rock, guaranteed you're gonna have trouble. Guaranteed. So we just take our time a little bit, and as you can see, it really tilts the trailer too. Oh, the wheels were almost in the air. Boy, I tell you, that was close. There again, patience saves the day, like I keep saying. You take your time and you're going to be okay going through all these areas. What an absolutely awesome game, awesome truck to drive. It's a pretty good task too. Although not the easiest one, I'll tell you that. Our troubles have not yet begun. We had a few tight spots there, but not really much of an issue yet. But we got one coming up, and we've got a helper truck out there. We brought the Plaid 450 out yesterday afternoon and parked it there for us to use if we get into any kind of trouble down the road here. And I think we might need his help over here. Well, we'll see when we get there. And that was a big crack in the rock over there. We could slip over top of with the twin steer, not much of an issue. And as we come down here, we're almost, oh, I forgot about this here little area. You'd think that with all the rocks around, they could take this little hole and fill it in, you know, put some dirt over top of the rocks, and then you wouldn't have this problem anymore. But I'll make a suggestion to the front office and let them know that maybe they should just fill it in with some spare boulders. Now just up ahead there, as you can see, was my Plaid 450. But when we get there, we've got a 90-degree turn to make to the left. And once you get around the corner, the area that you can drive on is very, very narrow. If you do not go straight forward and go and make your turn as wide as you can, even then, you might not be able to drag your truck over that little narrow area. But we'll take a look. We'll take a look and see. Because that's what the Plaid is there for, in case I need any help. I'm just going to try and drag it over these rocks as far forward as possible before I even start to turn. Maybe try to get it about, just about right there. Because we can't climb the hill much higher than that. See how, and you can see how narrow it is. And we got to have those back wheels of the trailer over far enough that it'll make that. So anyhow, we overshot it on purpose, and we're gonna see. Whoa, careful now, Fett. We don't want to lose it now. We're too close now. We're gonna try and drag. Well, we can't. It's really hard to drive on the rocks up there, so we're gonna have to come down a little bit. And I think that's gonna be a huge mistake. Well, we're okay so far. We've got room, as you can see. So we're just going to try and pull it forward. See, those back tires, they should have been up a little bit higher. Because over here, we're going to have to cut in a little bit further, and that's going to bring those tires closer to the edge of the cliff. And that's not a good idea. Because you're going to get just about... Oh, the rocks are starting to break apart. Okay. The back part of the trailer is too far over. We're going to stop this engine, and we're going to change to the Plaid, and we're going to see if we can just gently nudge the trailer just over a little bit. If we can nudge him over just a little bit so he can clear the broken area there with the left tire, that's it. But the trailer is really heavy. We're going to have to hit it a little harder there, boys. One more shot. There we go. That went a little bit. Now it moved a little bit. Okay, let's try that. And one more shot. Okay, let's try that. That should just pass by that little edge there. Okay. Well, boy, I tell you, that's going to be tight. But we got to pull up a little bit to the right, and that'll pull the trailer straight. We're hoping that it's going to pull the trailer a little bit straighter. Oh, up there. Oh, I think we got it past the problem area. Maybe better take a quick look. Whoa, yeah, I think we just got it. It's a double axle, so got it just past there. Okay. Now we got to try and pull a little bit further down. Oh, wow. That's a pretty tight fit trying to get this big trailer through that little area there. There just wasn't enough room to turn. But the only alternative would have been to, before we even got into the quarry, I would have had to drive out towards the highway and then gone all the way around the outside of the map, just to be able to try and get into the other side of the quarry and enter it from the other side. And then I would have been able to bypass that problem area. But that was just, I don't know if I would have been able to even do that, because there would have been a lot of other areas that I would have had problems with. So we chose the shorter route, and it seemed to work out for us so far. Now we still got a couple of little areas. We got one area that caused us a lot of pain and some disaster in a different video, and it's coming up quite quickly here. First we got to get this guy through here. That area is very narrow too, and he ends up riding on the ridge on the one side. But that's okay. We got him through. And I do believe that the worst part of the journey is over. You got to believe that as we're coming up here. I think that just up ahead here is where that other problem area was. So wait until we get there. Yeah, I do believe so. It's a narrow area, but if you try to miss right up ahead here, right in front of me, there's a ledge there, and if you try to drive to the left-hand side of that ledge, you'll fall off the cliff. You have to keep your right-hand side tires on top of the ledge, right there. And by doing that, you're going to tilt like crazy, like that, but you won't fall off the ledge. Now, the reason I'm telling you is because I have fallen off the ledge in a different job. So make sure you drive on top of that ledge with the one side of your tires. That is probably that one and that area by the corner were the two worst points, worst problems on this particular job. The rest of the job is fairly easy. Sometimes I'm my own worst enemy, as we will find out when we turn the time forward so we can see where we're going again. Now we got a couple of little muddy areas, but not really anything of any consequence from here on in, I believe. Fairly decent, straightforward, but boy, I tell you, after those two problem areas, I think we have a little bit of an easy time here delivering this trailer. But we're getting there. We're almost at the bottom, and they can start putting this quarry back together. We are now working on tasks in the contracts, and they all follow one another. You can't do the next one until the previous one is done, and I couldn't advance until this trailer was delivered first. So in case you're wondering about that, you have no choice but to do them in that order, because that's the way they're given to you. They're locked until you get a particular job done. Here's one other tiny little, it's a little bit of a tight spot, but if you slow her down and take your time, you're okay. There's my Kenworth still waiting down below. It's narrow, but there's enough room to go by. And if there's enough room to go by, then just like I said, if you go a little bit slower so that your truck doesn't get bounced on a rock or something, you can be driving right by the edge, and you'll still be okay, because you're not going to slide off of it. You're going to go right back up and get the other side, just like that. Just like that. Now this here area is a tough area. I've been through here a few times with other vehicles and other cargo, and every time I go through here I have problems. You gotta try and pull it way up and then go over to the left, and sometimes you gotta go back and forth, and there is nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. You have to go through it, and you just have to kind of go back and forth until you break your trailer loose. Sometimes you get lucky, you get it in the first shot. That's happened to me before, but not this time. And then of course I get so focused on the game and what I'm doing, and then sometimes you get a little bit of frustration sets in, and you go, my God, we got to get it out of here. Okay, I think we're gonna be okay now. And then you finally break free. Oh, still not. Okay, got to go over a little bit to the right. This again is the trouble with these big trailers, and if you had a big truck, it would be double trouble. But then when you finally get it through, you go, oh, is that ever great? Finally got it through. But all this time, and I know now, but all this time, I keep forgetting to pay attention to my fuel. And my gas gauge is going lower and lower and lower. And it affects the truck. The truck starts driving slower and starts jerking, and eventually will stop, obviously. But you don't realize that because you're too focused on performing the task. Finally, when the truck stops, you go, oh, okay, we're out of fuel. I guess I better give it some fuel. We still got all 160 liters on the bumper, 300 in the maintenance module, so we got lots. So we're just gonna fuel them up, and then we're gonna finish our delivery. Absolutely awesome. Really, I love driving the Avenhorn A15. It's a very capable truck, very powerful, and a lot of fun to drive. This was an absolutely fantastic video. I love some of these big trailer deliveries, and I hope you enjoyed the video too. Hopefully you got some tips and tricks out of it, and if you just came to watch for the fun of it, absolutely fantastic. Come back for more, share them with your friends, give them a thumbs up. Really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. Until we see you again at OpenFed Gaming, you've been delivering a construction rig semi-trailer to the Silver Quarry in Zherbai Quarries in an Avenhorn A15 with me as your driver, the OpenFed.